This is Merchandise Mart. Transfer to Brown Line trains at Merchandise Mart. Doors closing.
Bars.
It's like a Christmas song.
That's a fact.
Well, here,
right.
salute real quick again, gentlemen.
Yeah. Salute.
You guys are all
Salute.
water. Here we go. You good? There you go.
There we go. Hold on.
Salute, man. Salute.
We bike.
So, welcome to the Wyzendale Weekly Wrap-Up Podcast Edition of Wyzendale Radio. Take 2.
Yeah.
I got the homies in the house. First off, I want to give a shout-out to Stack Brogan Collective for having us in the Davis Furniture Showroom. Beautiful showroom here. Really hanging out. I appreciate it, Diana. So, big shout-out to them. I have with me 3 guests who have helped Wyzendale throughout our, I should say, social media silence. We did a little radio on Wednesdays, Takeover. Thank you for everybody who checked it out. I have 3 of the anchors that helped us create all the music. So go ahead, you guys can introduce yourself. Start it off.
What's up? My name is Scendsei, reporting live from Chicago.
My name is Scendsei. I'm here.
I'm the homie K-Sity.
Nice. And how does everybody know each other? How about we start off there?
I mean, I met Slot way back in the day through doing shows at the Basement.
Facts.
And then fast forward to being hired at Scratch DJ Academy, which is where I met K-Sity. We got hired as teacher's assistants, same day, same time. And then in the midst of all that, Slot and I were running the Hip Hop Project, and K-Sity brought him into that, and we've just been Cruella since.
Nice.
Easy Bar and all kinds of different things.
Yeah. And the Hip Hop Project was through
WLUW, Loyola University.
Loyola Radio, yeah.
How long did that run for?
The show itself ran for almost close to 25 years.
It was about 27.
Yeah, 27.
2015 was 20 years. So actually, yeah, it's 25 years.
Yeah,
right,
so it was about 25 years, and then we held the station down for about 7 before we were disbanded.
Yeah, we got
like everybody got disbanded.
No,
just
there were
certain
changes happening at the studio.
Yeah.
And then after I asked what recommendations they have for us, they basically said, "Well, you could try these stations." I was like, "Oh, got it."
Yeah, it was a little bit of a Sigma 6, like, we'll let you go situation.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So is it still going on right now, or?
Oh no, the show
not the Hip Hop Project.
No, not the show right now.
We own
But
that.
you guys own that.
Yeah, we essentially own that. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They run their own shows, like their own time slots still through Loyola.
So how about Vocalo Radio? What do you guys? I mean, they've been out for a little bit now. Do you guys liking that? You fucking with that? I mean, that's.
Nah,
they have a lot of. I know we were talking earlier about on Take 1 about showing local hip hop projects hip hop acts. What do you guys think radio's like right now?
I think Vocalo is dope. I think it's probably one of the more slept on vehicles for music in general in Chicago.
Yeah.
In terms of local music. Yeah. You have really dope record DJs, selectors on there from Jesse De La Pena, Cuz. Yeah, exactly.
So
DJ
do you guys
Step.
send in sorry, not to cut you off.
You
do you
good.
guys send in like mixes as well? Because I know they always ask for people to send in mixes. Like, is that like a?
Nah, they have I think they have their own roster, and I guess however the opportunity kind of comes up from there.
They do feature guest DJs on certain time slots because they'll 1 month out of every Friday, or they do the Friday DJ series. Jesse De La Pena runs that.
Yeah.
And
Shout out
one
to
of the
Jesse.
weeks out of the month they do guest DJs.
Gotcha.
So you can submit and do all that. I have a couple of mixes through Vocalo that are in rotation somewhere out there.
Nice.
But I think Vocalo for me was definitely like the one station that I actually listened to.
Yeah,
radio wise.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't have XM or nothing satellite in the car or anything like that.
Yeah.
And as far as radio stations go, it's literally the only one I'm listening to. That or the jazz station because I'm an old man.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
90.9 WB.
Yeah, 90.9.
That's my jam, bro.
Hell yeah.
That's my jam. Catch me rocking that doing food deliveries out here.
Vocalo was real refreshing. Like I feel like I got to hear some things that I didn't get to hear before, and it was funny because like I'd have the app right, and I'd be like listening to it and be like, oh, I gotta get this joint. it's like, oh man, I forgot about that, or I never heard that. And so I feel like it exposed me to a little bit of music as well as the local artists. But I like what they're doing, man. I like what De La Peña's doing, DJ Archie, Cut Cuz, man, a lot of the homies are doing their mixes on there. Yeah.
Gabe Mendoza, who was part of the Hip Hop Project, is their hip hop correspondent. So every Friday he does an album review for a new album that came out on Vocalo and has like his own series on there. So and Vocalo was actually a sister station to WLUW and what we were doing. We would, when kids at Loyola were coming into the radio and arts program, they would be able to sign up for internships. Thank you, over at Vocalo. So we were very close with them as well. So
and I know you guys have like taken on the spirit and kind of doing kind of the project that you guys are working on. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Are you talking about the educational,
the
DJ, instructional, the Spin project? Yeah, so like having the blessing of going through Scratch Academy where I met Sen, and being able to be the student and growing into being an instructor. Unfortunately, the school, Scratch DJ Academy, which was based out of New York, had a couple chapters in some other cities. Let's see, there was Miami, there was Atlanta, there was LA, Philadelphia, Chicago. Unfortunately with Chicago, we had to close down last year, right?
We closed down last year, but we were around for 3 different locations.
Yeah.
And
in Chicago, 3 different locations.
Yeah, we had 3 different because we were on like 3-year contracts with these different spaces. So we were here for a while. And shout out to Jam Master Jay. He and Slot in the first take made sure we said that, but Jam Master Jay, if you don't know, legendary.
I don't know what he's talking about. There was no first take. This is the only take.
That was a practice run. I'm sorry. Yeah. We were that was all a dream.
Dress rehearsal.
But Jam Master Jay, legendary Run DMC, DJ, producer, everything. He started that coincidentally the year that he also got killed. So I think it was like March or April, the doors of Scratch DJ Academy in New York opened up, and in October of that same year, he was killed inside of his own studio.
How many kids would you guys, or not kids, but students of all, I'm sure all different ages, how many people would run through that?
Oh my God. At one point, man, I remember I was full-time teaching 6 days a week. I was doing, they would cap each class at 8 people, but I was doing maybe 3 classes a day. Yeah. And we were getting
That's
a lot.
Mad traction. That's a lot of traction.
It was huge. It was big. And it was it was easy for it to turn into like a factory vibe. Yeah. But we didn't. Like, it was very personal. Everybody that came in, we opened up to their personality, because we know that music is just that, like when you came in at a 101 standpoint, there's very basics that we force everybody to kind of understand. But after that, it's like, all you got to do is get through 101 with me, and then you can let your wings spread, and we really let people fly after that.
Yeah.
And what was dope too is that they had like a lot of influential instructors, and then some of those kids went on, or not kids, but some of those students went on to actually have like a lot of influence in the community, like the franchise. Yeah, Freaky Bionic has like a really dope party with my homie DJ Mochi at the Whistler. Yep. Yeah. And it's like all Afro beat and stuff like that.
Yeah. What was it called?
It's Unbound Sound, I believe.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
And then the franchise, she came in as a private student of mine, and she told me, she's like, yo, I got this vision. This is what I do now for work. This is why I want to be here. That's it. And she literally took that and ran with it, and she's doing amazing things. And then even at not at that larger scale, let's say, but a lot of these students clicked up and then started doing their own nights. So they were, while they were shadowing us, because we had a shadow program too, where they could come out, hang out with an instructor. Most of the time I used to bring them to the Hip Hop Project, because it was the easiest way. Bring into a radio station, you don't have to worry about the moving parts of a night, all that. And if they got questions, it's easy to answer. But it was really dope. It was a really dope opportunity, and it built a huge community here in Chicago. Absolutely. In particular. And we had people like Slot that would come in as guest speakers, and we had anywhere from, A-Track and Scratch Bastard and people like that to the local celebrities that we got. And it was just really dope. The community aspect was the big part of it. I mean, people were crying and in tears when this shit closed. Yeah. Because it really was like...
I mean, I might cry. Fuck, man, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's like when you're cribbed. It's like, when you get the rec center that gets torn down. That's essentially what it was for everybody. It was, you had an open door policy for anybody that was part of that community. Whether you graduated or not, you can come in there at any point, practice, hang out, just kick it. A lot of people would be in the area, grab some food. They knew when the practice times were going on, just pop in and hang out. And shout out to Toadstyle.
Big shout out to Toadstyle, man.
Master, bro. He was, that man ran it. He was the head instructor first off on paper, but he was also just that dude. Yeah. You know, like
Mr. Miyagi.
Yes.
He would never give you the answer.
But he would lead you there.
Get you there.
He would lead you there, bro. It was wild. So.
But never give you the answer. You know, I think the quality of DJs.
Is that you? Yeah.
That's my man over there with the
shout out to technology.
I was trying to turn it off. My bad.
Nah, you good.
I think the quality of the people who came through were like, they were really passionate about it, man.
Yeah.
Like for me as a student coming in, like I'd been lost about myself, and just going back to scratch and getting back in music, like I felt like it really gave me back who I was. So when it went down, like I took it hard.
Yeah.
I really did, because it was a community that I loved so much. I was around people who were like me.
Yeah.
I couldn't get that before.
Yeah.
And so it was dope. And so, like as Sen said, it ended. And in the spirit of wanting to keep the DJing craft alive, and if we're going to teach our young kids how to DJ, I thought it was really important that we taught them the right way and teach them the history and teach them how to do it. So when Scratch closed, I started up the Spin Project. Send has joined us on the Spin Project, and we're trying to just help kids learn how to DJ and do music production. So that's kind of the evolution of that. But rest in peace to Scratch Academy Chicago and the homie. You know, everybody who was involved. So
yeah, I think it was cool, because when I first reached out to Sen and Slot for taking over our Instagram, you know, I was telling Sen, like, yo, put people on who are, you know, who need like the opportunity, right? Because I didn't know about Scratch Academy. I had no idea, like, the network. And then every Wednesday, I mean, there was people who were ready to DJ, ready to just spin, and like you guys said, like, just happy for the opportunity to kind of do something. So talk about like how everybody now is on Twitch and everybody's streaming. I mean, what do you guys think about that as far as like leveling the playing field, and now people seeing like DJing or marketing as something that they need to do?
Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff was kind of luxury beforehand. It wasn't something that people took as a prerequisite in order to still be active as a DJ. As soon as COVID-19 kind of hit, you had a bunch of people jumping on different platforms, creating different shows, essentially creating content that I think a lot of DJs kind of ignored. Maybe people, like back in the day, you had mixtapes, a lot of, you know, people had radio shows, but a lot of time, like a lot of the DJs were kind of focused purely on clubs or bars or wherever they could get in. Now, because a lot of those places to commune, I think that's the wrong word, to be within a community is kind of shot. Now you have to learn how to build one on social, and that kind of has expanded everyone's palette in order to be able to market, be able to learn video, learn how to stream, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, big shout out to City setting up all of our shit over here. I mean, it takes a team, right? Like,
absolutely.
It takes a team to set it up. It takes a team to reach out to people and kind of do all this stuff. I mean, so who have you guys noticed that have really been kicking it before? I think you guys said DJ Nice.
DJ D Nice.
D Nice.
He was kind of the first one that caught attention for it. He's been doing a lot of celebrity parties. Slot got a little more background on that, but I mean, just as far as the live stream goes, he jumped on it and he caught the attention of, you know, news media and just everybody. And I mean, he was already in that range of being known and well known, but I just think that something that we talked about was that trust factor and building that trust with, you know, their people, and that's kind of where it is now. So, and
then also what kind of worked out too is that not only did he build the trust, but he also made it. He added validity to a pathway in order for DJs to either get in or even to rise to fame. Because I believe D Nice was more so known in the industry, whereas now that's kind of gone out into the actual people now.
Yeah.
Like to the
name. Yeah, like he's been in press nonstop. He's done stuff with Michelle Obama to get people to vote again. Yeah. He's been part of a lot of different things, man. So
yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's probably important to point out that, D-Nice was originally a rapper from back in the day in the late 80s and stuff, and making the transition to DJing. So as Sen said earlier, like he wasn't necessarily the first one to do it. He was just kind of the one that got the notoriety for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think D-Nice is okay to be that guy, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, he's pretty influential. Slot can tune us in on the different parties he does for celebrities. But yeah, I mean, he's a hitter.
Yeah,
he's a hitter.
Sure. So is he still rocking Instagram, or
he's still bodying it right now?
Oh yeah, he's got his parties.
Him, Questlove from The Roots.
Yeah.
And how do they have the ability to play? Because I know everybody's getting taken down. Like, how do they have that ability?
From my understanding of it, a lot of it is certain people have, like, certain celebrities or certain celebrity DJs have influence with different companies. So whereas if I get flagged for something, I can't necessarily reach out to the CEO of Twitter.
Right.
Or not Twitter, but Instagram.
Yeah.
Where he may also have that clout because of who he's worked with and who he's connected with. But there's also another thing called whitelisting, label whitelisting. So every label normally has a different agreement with each platform in terms of how things are streamed, et cetera, et cetera. And so a lot of those guys are actually getting labels to whitelist a lot of things from labels.
Yeah. Interesting. And I rarely have a chance to talk to DJs who are in the know. Can you guys comment a little bit more about Jazzy Jeff's camp that he runs? Like, I know he runs weekly, or it's like a week-long camp.
So it's called a playlist retreat.
Oh,
yeah,
playlist
that's
retreat.
awesome.
Okay.
Man.
The playlist retreat is dope. So essentially, what he does is he finds DJs, producers, singers, and they put, like, my homie 14KT, Stro Elliott.
So do you apply to it?
No,
they just
everybody's handpicked.
It's invited. You get invited.
Invite only.
Yeah, totally invite only, and then they essentially spend like a week together, 24 hours, just vibing, creating an album.
Yeah.
Who gets to do that?
Fucking
Yeah.
sick.
So that's what it is. You're basically getting all these people from all over the world, all different flavors of music, all different tastes, and kind of grouping them up and putting them together and seeing what they could do together. And in the midst of it, there's barbecues. Jazzy Jeff's crib is open to all of them during this thing.
And he has an amazing studio in the house too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's classic, and yeah, that's an incredible thing.
So hand selected, and when it happens at what time during the year?
I've seen it happen multiple times, so I feel like it's almost a tad random. Not tad random, but like it's not so like. First week of March.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
so
never like a date behind it. All of a sudden, you just start seeing everybody that you love is
Descend
at Jazzy
upon
Jeff's house. You're like, oh, yo, damn. So
I'm glad you brought up Jazzy. Because one of the things that a lot of people may or may not know is I know Jazzy went online and he had talked about how him and a few others were working with the platforms and trying to get a fair understanding of what we're trying to do as DJs and allowing the music to get played and not be cut. So I know he's a big part of that. So big ups to Jazzy Jeff and everybody in that camp who are trying to,
like, I think DJ Scratch is involved with that as well.
Okay,
Scratch
DJ
Vision,
Scratch.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, we're promoting the artist's music. I know it's about you're playing their song and royalties and this and that, but we're kind of a marketing piece for that.
Oh,
so I don't
know.
know.
We're absolutely free marketing. Not kind of.
Yeah, we are, right? So I hope that those folks that are working on it, man, get somewhere. I really do. I wish them all the luck.
Yeah, for sure. Do they put out like albums from the week, or like is there any product that's produced, or is it mainly just relationship building?
No, it's a whole album.
I believe there are projects that are out. I'd be lying to you.
Talking about the playlist?
Yeah.
Like the last one that they did in couple years ago, I have that on vinyl, like the whole thing.
Oh, really?
There's a whole album that was put together from those sessions. And it's fire. It's fire. Because, I mean, you're getting, not only are you getting, it's just the different influences of music on one song. Yeah. It's like having a really well-versed producer, composer. Yeah. But, like, it's just everybody's taste, and it makes sense. Everything, like, really meshes well together. So.
Yeah. We were talking about, like, kind of breaking down the barriers, right? And that's kind of what he's doing with that and advocating for for music to be played. I mean, so now that COVID hit and the playing field is a little bit more leveled and you see kind of the pros and cons, I mean, what do you think, or how do you guys feel about that in general, right? Like your nights are different, the hours are different. I think people who now can't be out at 10:30 or 11, like we were saying earlier, you know, now they're exposed to the DJ life. You know, how is that going to change the playing field? I know it's loaded.
Yeah, so I was gonna say it's a loaded question.
I know, you're right.
I guess what makes it interesting is like with streaming, right? Because everyone is on these different platforms, you essentially want to be on during peak hours of when people are using said platform.
Yeah.
So like maybe 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. it's just a wash. But when people are, I mean, let's be honest, like there are tons of people who have jobs who duck off to the bathroom all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
So like from 9 to 5.
To get away from the work?
I mean to get away from the work, or just like, man, this so-and-so's doing something on here, I just want to see it.
Yeah.
You know, so like right now, a lot of people are kind of changing. Instead of going 10 to 2, 10 to 3, people are kind of going, all right, cool, I know people are going to be driving around this time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, people are starting to tap into the lifestyle aspect of others.
Yeah.
More than the lifestyle that was created via the nightlife. You know what I'm saying?
You're not reading the crowd anymore. You're reading life behavior.
Yeah.
Right,
Facts.
and adjusting.
Yeah, and it's big because the idea of it opening up the platform for artists, it forced us to open the way we think. Because like Slot's saying, like you're not concerning yourself with who's gonna come out. How can I get them to come out? You know, an Instagram post back in the day, or not back in the day, but pre-COVID, essentially was what picture or what piece of imagery can I put up that's gonna catch people's attention enough to not double tap and like it, but to actually read where I'm at for the week, or where I'm at today, or tomorrow, or whatever the case is. And now it's just a matter of what's the most ideal time to catch people in general, because it is so, what we do now is fully accessible. You know, like Slot mentioned at the beginning of this, it was overlooked from DJ's standpoint. You know, it was a resource that could have been used, but for me, I didn't want to use it because my whole mentality was, well, if someone's going to be able to watch my set, what's going to make them want to come out? So let me not stream that.
Right.
Whereas now you got no choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it like really flipped the game and like in that respect.
Even more than flipping the game, I feel like it flipped people's perspectives. Like even just hearing him say like, all right, well, why wouldn't I do that?
Right.
Like now the situation is, well, to understand Instagram and how it works is that, one, you have numerous algorithms that you're working with. Mm-hmm. If your mind state doesn't follow the algorithm, you're working against it. Mm-hmm. So each individual part, the story, all of it has time limits and how people want, like they've designed it how they want you to use it.
Right.
So if you post a photo of a flyer, probably not going to get that many likes or engagement for the most part.
Of course.
However,
right.
yeah, but like there have been times I've posted a photo of me and my wife together, and you'd have thought I'd have dropped a whole album or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But people kind of want you.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily want the perception that you're attempting to put out. They want the truth, and that's kind of part of the algorithm that people are starting to get hip to now.
Yeah. So to add on that, it's the authenticity, right? And I think people are finding new things besides their music. And it's been really interesting to me to see other artists show me a different side of themselves, right? And not to mention as DJs, I don't get to go see Slot as much as I'd like to, because he might play the same night I play, or I want to go hear this really dope DJ play out, but I can't because it's the same night I play. Dude, I actually get to see like a lot of the people I look up to and see their sets, and it's really, really dope. I love to jump in and see this guy talking to people, you know what I mean? Or I jump in and I watch Sem play, and it's like, I didn't really get a chance to see it. I play with these dudes like a couple times a month.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like watching it was like, yo, like I know I see it in the club or I see it at the bar, but like my man's snapping right now. It's like a totally different vibe.
That, and then I think it just, like what they were saying, it just brings people really into your world. Like, you know, you show your personality, your humility, you know, who you are as just overall as a human being. And you don't, as DJs and as artists, we didn't have that crazy prep time prior, you know, like no matter what, I've been doing this for 17 years now, you know, and it's like my knees still knock before I go out. That's my life check to make sure that I'm still human and, you know, I'm not better than
Real
myself,
life.
none of that. Like, nah, bro, like it's a reality check, but you know, it brought people into the crib with you, you know, people were like, yo, you got a crazy studio, or like, yo, you got Salt Rock lamps, bro, you're on that? Like, you know, just little stupid little things like that, but like those connections that were missing prior are now all of a sudden kind of happening slowly, you know, so, and it made me feel stupid about me thinking it was against me to put it live before, you know, I was like, no, that was a dumb way to think, like, no.
Yeah, I know it. And even in my industry, like now taking all the zooms and stuff, like people see the backgrounds, people see kids in the background, like it's just adding a whole nother personality or personable aspect to it. And, you know, that's where my mind goes when we talk about hospitality, we talk about the nightlife, like with all those bars closing down, I'm thinking to myself, like what's happening to the musicians? What's happening to the music scene? Like now it's like, it's crazy to think how people are going to get their music out. I know you were talking about your Tuesday nights over at Sub T. Can you explain a little bit more about that or what you guys were doing over there?
Sub T, so, you know, a big part of it was diversity. There was a long-standing open mic night for over 20-something years, run by 606 Chicago. Shadow Master, Jory Norman, and a couple of the heads there. Boy Wonder, Tony Ramos. They've been doing this every Tuesday forever, and they decided that it was time to consolidate and go down to one Saturday. And so they opened up their Tuesdays to some people in the community. Was very blessed to be able to get a slot on one of those Tuesdays. So we just knew that as we tackled it, it had to be something different. Yeah. Everybody on the Tuesdays, we knew were going to come with open mic because that's kind of what that night was designed for. But if you know me well, I try to go against the grain on things and try different things. So we did that, and we started to do sort of this improvising music thing. Yeah. Like what I felt like was missing in Chicago was we didn't have a platform for local artists to get out as much as I think they needed to be. Like, you know, we needed to bring them out to people, like show them these new artists. But I kind of wanted the instrumentation. It's like, I want to hear a live drummer. I want to play with that drummer and let him do his thing. And what song can I find? Dude, this guy would start going off with John Content, who is one of our resident drummer, as John. We did it. Big shout out to John. And myself, and we would do these sets, and it was like we were just vibing. And it was different, man. I actually caught slack because there were MCs that are like, yo, are you doing an open mic tonight? And I said, no, we're not. And so we're doing something a little different. But then 3 months into it, I'm scouting MCs, and I was like, yo, I found, you know, a young cat who is doing his thing on the scene. I was like, come on out, join us. And so we kind of saw this momentum building. And not that it wasn't something that had ever been done before, because we've seen instrumentation with other rappers and singers, but nobody was really doing the consistent thing with DJs. And the instrumentation. Sean Dervis, I give him mad props because he was somebody who I know kind of forefronted the bringing a drummer out. I don't know if it was really like a play off of each other kind of thing. Either way, we were just trying to find consistency. And then John started bringing out more musicians.
Yeah, like the last one that we did prior to COVID, he had a whole band.
Yeah,
he had keys,
it was dope.
We had a bass player,
Nice.
the drummer, and then we were just kind of like the melody, essentially, you know, and then like drop the track, they're going hard, you kind of cut something over it, and it was just very organic. It was, we you know, to go from an almost pre-programmed feeling of like my weeks are all the same essentially, because you know we shoot for trying to get that residency, you lock it down, and then 5-6 months later it's almost the same rotation every week, you know. So it was very refreshing.
Yeah,
it definitely was. So
yeah, and then I know that Slot, you with Revel Room, you guys had the Sundays. The one drummer that I found on the Sunday over there was Tommy Carroll. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he was know Tommy Carroll. Fucking dope, man, so dope. So I know you guys had Revel Room popping on Fridays and Saturday nights for sure.
That's
I would
him.
always.
That was
That was my residency every Friday, Saturday.
Yeah,
That's
we
how
would
Divac,
always. We would always. Be like, let's
Sunday
go to
was a
Revel Room.
different beast, though. Shout out to Charlie Coffin and all the guys who used to come through there.
Yeah.
But it was like a lot of touring musicians, a lot of guys from different backgrounds, either be gospel, jazz, just coming through and just catching vibes and switching out. Mm-hmm. Almost kind of like the drummer would go play bass. The keyboard player would go play drums, et cetera, and everybody would kind of just go vibe.
Yeah.
It was dope, man.
I mean, what do you guys think the scene is going to be? I know it's hard to say what it's going to be like, but I mean, do you think it's opportunity for people to take up nights again or change nights from one way to another? Because, I mean, is that shit like dead now? Like all of that type of vibe? I mean, I can't really see. I know me personally, like I don't know if I would be able to go up in the Revel Room right now on a Saturday night when all these people back to back sweating on each other. You know what I mean? Like, damn.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that is so oddly enough far down the road.
Yeah.
That I feel like whenever it opens up, people will be craving it.
Yeah.
But
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
But
are you gonna have a shield in front of your booth? You know what I mean? Like
I need one.
He needed one before.
I needed one before.
He needed one pre-COVID. Let's be just realistic.
The dope thing about Revel is that like when you play Revel, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
You might as well be in the middle of the dance floor with everybody
for
else.
Millions of fans who don't know what Revel Room, can you explain the setting really quick? The back room, small,
for sure.
Like,
There's a fairly wide open front room, but then the back room is really where the party's at, and there's like a real dope couch layout. You have me DJing or whoever homies I have coming through, and it's tight though, so it kind of gives like a really dope basement vibe without actually having to be in a basement.
Yeah.
It's hot, it's sweaty, but if you're really into it, it's one of the best experiences that you can have in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Wicker Park, just to point out. So
Facts.
so
6
those that
corners.
don't know.
And I'll tell you like this. I mean, I was doing a Motown night at Revel Room prior to Slot ever working there, and I had never seen Revel on a weekend look like that. But I'd say it took them about a year, if maybe a little less than that.
Yeah.
But literally, like, if anybody was like, we would see people coming from all over. I'd be outside taking a smoke break, and everyone's like, yo, is this Revel, man? I heard this is like the hip-hop spot now in Chicago. And I was like, hell yeah. Dope. Hell yeah. You know, because it's one of the homies, and it's the credible homie, and it's a good human that's running it. It's not some trash, you know. It's not someone doing it for a gimmick. And like, you know, Slot with Revel in particular.
Oh no, I like gimmicks. Just in case anybody wants to give me one. Sorry. Sorry.
But like, you know, something that like we all as a collective talked about between like the Sub T night, you know, Easy Bar, Revel Room, like we were very, very particular about trying to set a musical standard there without trying to put it on a flyer or like be in someone's face and be like, you gotta like this. Nah, man, it was just like, yo, like, you know, his thing was always like, I'm going to hit y'all with all the new shit, all the good shit that I like. But at the same time, I'm going to give you all the stuff I know you want, but I'm going to do it my way. And no one was rocking music that way, you know? And anytime he did, you know, and when I had these guys were my residents and partners for Easy Bar every Wednesday, you know, and that was, almost 5 years at that point before COVID hit that we were doing that weekly. And that started as a guest spot for me one time on a Saturday, and then just like, yo, you want to do this? And then weekends open up. So that was one thing, was like we were all very particular and meticulous about what we wanted to do, but we had our like a real soft way of like kind of like throwing it in your face without being like, yo, this is
subtle.
Yeah, you know, because you got to have a nice balance with that. You can't just serve somebody something that they don't know in an unfamiliar format, but put some new type of stuff in a taco. I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 people are going to be like, yo, what is this, bro? You know what I'm saying?
So, you know, they like tacos.
Hell yeah, tacos, burgers.
And there's like a married man, and there's someone who's had like, I have a bunch of dope homegirls. Majority of the influence that I've received in terms of like new music, clothing, et cetera, has always come from a softer hand instead of someone being an absolute dick about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of at least the mindset I had, was like, yo, if I'm gonna put you on to something, I want to make sure it's the most comfortable way that you can receive it.
Yeah, and excuse me, it's trying things different, right? And that's what I'm trying to do with the podcast and doing like more of the DJ kind of influence, like more of the subtle things. Like you don't have to necessarily bash them over the head, but you can, you know, bring it in a little bit softer and incorporate it that way. So how are brands kind of reaching out, or how are you guys kind of interacting with brands moving forward? Like, what do you guys think about that as far as like brand interaction?
I'm going to just sort of piggyback off when you said, like, well, where's it going, right?
Okay, yeah.
So where I think a lot of it's going is if we're not in the club, if we're not in the lounge, if we're not in the bar doing the thing, it's diversifying that portfolio with the music, right? So, like, what are you doing? Thank you, Wyzendale. Thank you, Davis, for having us here to even talk with you. Because that's it, right? As musicians, we've had to find some different lanes. Building relationships with corporate. Hey, let's help you get your brand noticeable to your clients still, even during a time of COVID. DJs can help you with that. I know DJs that are doing fitness classes, group lessons online, and they're just spinning, and an instructor is doing what they need to do. It's fascinating to see some of the new things and innovations that have come out. So I think the best thing to say is, like, it may not be exactly the same. Like, will we have a Revel party again? I believe there will be.
For sure.
It may not be right away.
Right.
But I think, you know, like in Slot's example, the position that he's setting himself up with, like with the podcast and the consistency of it, he might find that Revel party might come back again. But, you know, for some of us, it's just kind of thinking out of the box and how can we use our talent in a maybe different way.
And then also a lot of times with nightlife, in terms of sponsorship, a lot of it was all liquor brands. I don't drink.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, spiritually, it was always weird to have a Hennessy or have something like that. But now you could just find somebody who has like a really cool clothing line, build a partnership that way, receive sponsorship that way. One of the things I've always wanted to do was get a sponsorship from Topo Chico. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something, or like Red Bull, something like that kind of falls in line with like my actual taste. I feel like it's opening the landscape for that now. To be able to infuse like, cool. Like even when you were talking about it, like, yo, your back wall is empty. I have a bunch of art pieces.
Yeah, that's true, right?
You know what I'm saying? Now you have the ability to, okay, cool. Somebody really likes what you're doing, loves what you're doing. Now you kind of get the chance to see what those different types of partnerships can look like and what also makes sense for you.
Yeah, 'cause it's really just wide open right now. You know, there were like unwritten rules and standards to it. Like he's saying, the idea of just like, okay, well, my sponsorship obviously has to be a liquor company. First one that you're going to go at, because that's what's predominant in any nightclub setting or any nightlife setting in general, or any event setting. Do you have liquor? Do you have food? You know, depending on what kind of spot it is. And the music was like not even secondary at that point. It was just like an afterthought.
Facts.
And then, you know, now it's so wide open. I mean, look where we're at. You know what I mean? Look what we're doing. You know, and then you guys will hear about it soon enough. But like the stuff that we're all doing with Wyzendale, you know what I mean? Like that's totally different. And that mentality, I know for me, I wouldn't have been able to have those convos with you personally if COVID didn't hit. You know, and COVID really forced everybody back into being an introvert, not only at a real level of just staying inside, but mentally, you know, like spiritually, like, yo, what am I about?
Check in.
Yeah, like a mental check-in, but like, who am I? What am I trying to represent out here? You know, what am I able to do? You know, because all of a sudden you see homies like, you know, he and I would talk Slot, you know, when all the COVID first started, I noticed things on his feed that I was not seeing anywhere before. And I'm like, bro, you're ahead of the curve right now, you know? But it was just that idea of like, that's who Slot is though. Slot will find something, he'll come up with that idea and jump head first in it until all the pieces are understood by him. And then he'll make it his own, you know? So that's where like, it's not just about that. You know what I mean? That he's showing off, he can market, you know, he can promote, he can PR, he can manage. You know what I mean? There's a lot of operations. There's a lot of shit in that. And it's not just about being a DJ. And we were all doing that prior. Don't get me wrong. We're our own manager. We're our own PR. We are our own everything at that point, especially in the DJ world. But now it's like, it's going to look a little more refined, I think. Like, how does that translate in a future world?
And just adding, there's different DJs. The wedding industry. I'm in the wedding industry, and that took a major hit. Dude, all of my weddings were canceled. my entire income.
Yeah, I should have been out of town last weekend.
I may stir the pot here, but why do people jack up their prices for weddings? Just out of curiosity. Photographers, DJs, and like
for me, I mean, not to cut, but for me, it's always been like, yo, that's a big moment in your life,
right?
And as a DJ, there is incredible amounts of pressure on you in that moment, not to necessarily play.
Yeah,
it's not the music that you're playing; it's the run of show that
everything
you're
else
holding down.
Yeah,
There's also different things that kind of go into it too. Like when I go play at a bar, I'm paid by the bar, and for the most part, if you live in Chicago, it might be different in other cities. They provide all the gear.
Big time.
Yeah,
That's a big one.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now and a lot of times when you're getting booked for a wedding, you're kind of, one, you're able to set your own price. Two, you're able to kind of bring your own gear in to create a sound system, create a like part of the ambiance of the room.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
the third part is that no offense to anybody out there. Some parents are dickheads, man, and there's a little bit of something else in the room other than the taste.
You gotta have the contingency in there. You know what I mean?
And to even take that a step further, a lot of us aren't necessarily wedding DJs
At all.
So a lot of people hear us at a Revel, Easy
Yeah.
Bar, wherever we're at, and they're like, "Yo, do you do weddings?"
Yeah.
And it's that moment of, "Yeah, but."
Yeah.
So that's where, and honestly, you could go to any professional service
Oh, of course.
and look up those
yeah.
prices,
Yeah.
and they're dumb.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Cajun Aquarium.
Cajun Aquarium, yes, they're good people. But
I think it's important to point out that I do work for Cajun Aquarium, and we are one of the first firms doing a full turnkey virtual wedding solution.
Nice.
And I give them a lot of props for that. So
Yeah.
Tyler and Shelly, big ups to
Shout
that.
out Tyler.
Because I don't know how many other wedding people in the industry are doing it, and if they are, I'm sure they're catching up. But it just goes to show you like how it transformed itself. They've already done two, and will it be a thing in the long term? I don't know. But is it a component that could be with the in-person wedding?
Sure.
Absolutely. Grandma and grandpa down in Portland want to see the wedding. They can't come down.
Yeah.
They can see it online. So I think there will be a marriage between both of those technologies.
I
But
see what you did there.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
go ahead.
But like
what we
also
do.
too, like I had the privilege of going to London for my homie's wedding.
Word.
Nice.
What's tight about those type of weddings is that like particularly destination weddings where no family is.
Yeah.
It cuts down quite a few people.
Yeah.
It kind of makes it a little bit cheaper in
Yeah,
certain aspects, and you kind of get a chance to have a focused experience. But like the person who can't, or like the grandmother who's sick, as long as that person has an iPhone or iPad or whatever they have, tablet of some sort, they can go be there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the cool thing that was projected a while ago with like Second City
Yeah.
or Second City or Second Life?
Oh, you talking about the virtual shit?
Yeah.
Second Life.
Second Life.
Yeah.
The stuff that was projected
That's
back
still
then.
going on? I think.
I have no clue, but I think we live in it now.
Yeah. Right.
We're actually living in one big Black Mirror episode.
Exactly. Hands down.
Shout out Black Mirror, y'all got that
Hands
shit
down.
right.
Yeah. That's
Spot on.
Scarily
Spot
right.
on. Super spot
But yeah,
on.
that's kind of what you're running into
yeah.
right now.
You know-
and not to go on the tangent, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say we had a virtual Tupac at Coachella a couple years ago.
Right.
Like a hologram.
And
Now
don't
you
forget
can
a
have
Chief Keef,
virtual-
too.
Yeah, and now you could have a virtual slot A somewhere too, if you think about that. And that's where I say I don't think it's gonna run the industry at all. I don't think it'll necessarily be an industry standard, but it's gonna make people rethink how they book.
Yeah.
Because before you'd have to put up maybe $100K to get someone big out because of flight and their whole team and
Equipment.
they're bringing their gear and all that shit.
Exactly.
And now you could say, cool, I'll give you $10K and you stream to our platform right here from the luxury of your crib.
But then
that's
is that
where
shit gonna get cut?
No, actually,
I'm saying for a show. Like
Oh, for sure. Gotcha,
or
gotcha.
whatever.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
from a live perspective, not to cut him up, but I
Yeah.
know like live shows in general, like concerts and all that, bars
True.
and DJs is one thing, but like just shows, that's not coming back till next year,
Yeah.
2021. Because I have people that work in the industry at a union standard, at whatever, and they are the sound engineers, and they go into the United Center and build up all the sound systems for these
Stages
shows
and stuff,
the
yeah.
stadiums, yes. And it's like, yo, be prepared that come spring of 2021 is when we'll probably start. And that's the word, probably start.
Yeah.
We're in summer of 2020.
But like, this is where I think everyone kind of has COVID, excuse my language, slightly fucked up.
Yeah.
Everyone got comfortable eating certain ways, and COVID essentially showed us how fragile those ways of life are. But what's supposed to have the becoming of this, and we used to talk about this like when we were at the end of doing a hip hop project. I was like, yo, this is report card pickup time. You're going to see how certain systems work and who's going to be the innovator in that particular system. One of the things that I've noticed recently, a dying industry, drive-in movies are coming back.
Yeah.
Know what else is coming back associated with those? Drive-in concerts.
Yep.
Drive-in, like,
Strip clubs.
exactly.
Those driving strip
Yo,
clubs,
they
there
were
is.
having when
real thing.
COVID first hit, there were strippers that were doing live like Instagram invite only feeds, and like you were literally just watching them on your phone. Like there were people like having like funny memes of them throwing dollars at a laptop screen, but it was real though. It's like, yo, you need like those people that needed that fix were still getting it, so it's still there. Like so the people that the people that were first coming to our live feeds were all those people that were pouring up at home and needed that vibe because that was their escape. A lot of what we were doing was someone's 9 to 5 Monday through Friday escape. You know what I mean? They would literally live for the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's interesting where things are going to go. I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now more than ever, it's not that your industry stops.
Yeah.
2008 crash kind of showed everybody who had maybe one particular job all of a sudden was responsible for 5. That is what we're in now.
Yeah.
It's the mutation. It's the evolution of things to come. You're a DJ, might want to get a camera, might want to get a video card, might want to get a second laptop, might want to learn how to do lighting, know what a key light is, know how to go into a room and be like, or be able to look at a camera and be like, you know what, the color balance is off. Let me change this. That is also a part of DJing now, more than ever. And so that's what I think you're kind of running into too, is like, I don't think architects are just going to be, it's not going to just be a singular thing anymore. No. There's going to be so much associated with it, with things around it.
That's where Wyzendale is trying to come in right now. Architecture and design, but our marketing arm just as strong as our architecture and design, doing other things.
For sure.
Reaching out to the community. So thank you for setting me up on that one. But that's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Alley-oop.
There you go. Exactly.
Jason Williams
turned into NBA Jam session.
Exactly.
back.
He's on fire.
But yeah, no, that's exactly what we're doing. It's just changing the game. I mean, we are definitely an architecture and design firm first, but doing these ancillary kind of things where we're including the community, whether it's design or music, is definitely super important. So you were going to say something?
No, I was going to say that I think it's, it's funny at a time when this is all happening right now. I think I lost my thought on this one now.
Amen.
Well, I mean, you guys mentioned VR. I mean, that's going to be huge. I mean, I know that the NBA is doing like the league pass right now where you can put on your VR, your Oculus headset, you're at the half court and you look around. I mean, like I booked you for my sister's birthday, right?
Yeah,
just a quick 20 minute. I was giving hand signals like on the thing. Like, yeah, it was so funny. It was so funny. Yeah, good cut, and then he just kind of took off. But yeah, no, like I think that's definitely, the game has definitely changed for sure.
Totally.
For sure.
It's just a lot of industries I think got comfortable with a certain way of life. I just think because of this, one way or another, you're just going to have additional things associated with it. But it's based on how creative you are. Before Corona started cracking off, I got into photography. I was getting ready to go on tour with Jamila Woods for the album that we released, Legacy. And I was like, yo, I want to be able to like learn how to like document this.
Get that album, by the way.
Yeah. He said it, I didn't, but do that. I wanted to get into photography and I wanted to learn how to shoot my own promo videos, et cetera, et cetera. And so because of everything that, like me and my wife were just talking about this, like I have 2 cameras at the crib right now. I have multiple stands. I have a light. I have a light for key lighting in the back. It's just a bunch of stuff that I've collected over time that now, all right, cool. Like my MPC isn't as important right now.
Yeah.
Versus, all right, now like these cameras and the lenses and et cetera, et cetera. So I think what you're going to see is whatever people are interested in or thought they were interested in, they're going to go to that, but they're also going to find out the many elements that kind of go into it.
Yeah, it's going to be a big refinement of everybody's movement, I think. You know, and like you said, like I was fortunate enough, like in January for my birthday, I kind of got myself back into the production world. It had been 8 or 9 years at that point since I had worked on my own production, recorded anybody. And in January, it was just like, yo, you know, it's that time. And it kind of set me up for when COVID hit, where I was like, all right, cool, I'm here for this now. And it really started expanding out further than that for me. Because now, you know, I'm talking with different people about trying to figure out how to do, you know, different commercial scoring and little stuff like that, through like the people that I know just that are my homies, you know, that are like, yo, I didn't know you do this. And I was like, well, I wasn't. But, you know, it was like, it forced everybody into their own self and really like catapult and project out what you really want to do. So I was saying earlier, like using Slot as the example, where it was like, he was already promoting himself. He was already marketing. We were all doing that. But it like amplified and got really refined because now you got the rest of the pack that's like trying to catch up. And then you got the people that are already doing it and doing it a little differently. You know what I mean? So it's there's still going to be advantages and disadvantages. Everyone's going to have them throughout all these times because we don't necessarily know what anything's going to look like. You know, like our neighborhood, like I walk down Division Street or whatever, the patios are wide open. But that doesn't necessarily translate to everybody inside being there. There's an income coming in like that. You know, I don't know that any of the spots that I was playing at are what they're going to do, you know, because they were already, I was playing smaller spots, you know, for my own personal reasons. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to play the big spots. You know, I was, but, you know, they don't like what we do. Yeah. So I after all these years, I just kind of ended where I knew I was respected for what I do. And it just wasn't about having 5,000 people there trying to do all that shit anymore. I was like, I just want 10 people that like what I do and get it, you know? And that's what we were doing, just having these playgrounds for ourselves. And that's where like something like a Revel Room or Easy Bar held so much water for us, you know, and so much weight for us. Cause it's like, we become attached to that, you know, that's not only our outlet at that point, but it's like, you literally get to speak your truth and live that truth in that moment. And when it's reciprocated, oh my God, the energy and the synergy behind that is just, it's electric, bro. That's why.
Because a lot of times what happens for a lot of us is that you just want to DJ. That's like your initial thing. I just want to DJ. I want to show the world my taste. Yeah. And then that eventually turns into, depending, because like everyone hits their fork in the road. But for me, it became a thing of, I can DJ, I can play a lot of different genres, but I want to get booked to play how I play.
Right.
And so that's what taking the smaller bar was. So when somebody was like, hey, man, come play at Y Bar, but do you.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That was kind of
absolutely.
Exactly. So that was kind of like the calling card for me.
Yep. And being able to have that spot, too, allowed for, you know, the pass between homies in other states. You know, like, cool.
Yeah.
I got a spot for you. You got a spot for me. Bet. Let's do this. Because you know how your homies out of state are playing. That's why they're homies. You guys vibe already. But Easy Bar and Harvey's were the two spots for me that I was able to bring people in all the time. That's how I was.
Did Harvey's close?
No, they're still there.
No,
they remodeled or something too.
They changed staff. Shout out to Ileana. She was running it there forever. And
shout out to Fabi now.
Yeah, Fabi and you know they staff switched up and they're still doing their stuff over there. But it was just one of those places that, you know, like forever and ever, they just allowed DJs to be DJs. Yeah. It was never once. The only time they'd come up to you is be like, yo, turn that shit up. Yeah. we got 200 people in here. It's packed. You need to bring it up a little bit. Okay. And that's what it is. It's, like I said, that's where that attachment comes in for us. Because, you know, I mean, we've all been doing it for over 10 years at this point. And it's like, yo, man, like, you
damn, we're old, son.
Yeah. Yeah. You really, really get, like me, I really get attached to those places that just let me breathe. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I said, Easy Bar, like there were certain things didn't matter at that point anymore. It's just like, yo, I just want to DJ where it matters, you know, where it counts. And that's like, you know, I think what we're all kind of getting at with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I'm glad you touched on the different states. I mean, what are your homies doing like in different states or different music cities? I mean, how is the landscape? I mean, I know it's kind of the same everywhere, but like what, even I guess speak on pre-COVID and post-COVID. I mean, like Miami, LA, like or
For sure.
New York. I mean, I know you guys got some people out in New York as well. And
Facts. My homie DJ Low Key out of Denver used to throw this party on Sunday called Goodness. Now, Goodness was essentially an outdoor party. He would bring in DJs from all over the country. Everybody would come rock for an hour, and it would be like a 6-hour party outside.
nice.
He would bring in cats like, he even had a street festival with Jazzy Jeff, has brought in everybody from J-Rock from the Beat Junkies, et cetera, et cetera. And so what he decided to do was, that I thought was extra fly, is that he just took the same concept and brought it to Twitch.
Yeah.
So you give me your stream key, you give me your, I'll give you my stream key, you, cool. You start from 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. And
Sounds
so
familiar.
he's able to, and then everybody vibes with each other in the group chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so all the people who would come through regularly, all there.
Yeah.
And so I've been going over there for like maybe the last 2 to 3 years playing with him and my homie Carl Carell, but I already have family out there now because of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because of like, I guess it was dope about playing in small bars like we do. Excuse me. Oh, jeez. You get to build community.
Old man.
Yeah, right.
Indigestion.
Doesn't even drink alcohol.
That came up. Water. Drink water.
But no, you're able to build these communities. So like next time I go to Denver, I don't have to pay for where I stay.
Right.
Yeah.
I might get a different opportunity. Or the homies in New York, my homie Kev Love, I used to go out there and rock with him at this bar called Pianos in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Mm-hmm. We would do swaps all the time.
Yeah.
All right, cool. You come to Chicago. You got family out here. Put me on to your homies, et cetera, et cetera. And then, oddly enough, we're all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, same with me. Like, I got homies out in the West Coast for the majority. That's kind of where a lot of my homies outside Chicago are at with the DJ world. Mm-hmm. Shout out to D Double. They're doing that same thing. They took their weekly party, and I didn't even know that you can do multiple people on like a Zoom call, let's say, style, where they're all waiting to DJ and ping off of each other, and they're doing back-to-back 20-minute sets. So like you're in it waiting for, and you're trying to blend off the next guy's record live from somewhere else. Yeah, they're really, really going there with it. You know, like just, you know, with everything going on in the world right now, they had a 24-hour live stream fundraiser.
Yeah.
And because of the names that were on there, they were able to raise a really beautiful amount of loot with that. You know, awesome. So it's like, you know, that would typically be done in an event setting, but that now opens up the floor to so many more people. Because again, like if you're having that live fundraiser, let's say, you may not necessarily think about, you know, a live stream or something. You may try to put up on a Twitter. Like I've seen stuff like they'll have the Twitter feed posted in the back. And, you know, and like people are tweeting or like, you know, getting, you know, prizes or whatever the case is. But now you've just opened that up to the world to see, and it's not just exclusive to your city or your state. So,
and it's been extra player too. I want to give a big shout out to a couple of homies, DJ Mochi from here, and my homie DJ J Manop, Radar Ellis, and Don Will. They've been able to turn a lot of these parties into fundraisers. Mm-hmm. So DJ Mochi did one for Black Lives Matter. The homie J Manop and also Low Key did one for the bail of some of the people who were arrested during the protests and stuff like that.
Our homie DJ Michael's doing that, and he's doing those fitness things that we were talking about, like yoga in the morning when you're or like spinning, you know, spin cycle or something like that. And that's, you know, he's got either like the Chicago Bailout Organization or like the Chicago Black Lives Matter, you know, communities out here. So yeah, it's been really dope to see how that's translated further than any of us expected. You know what I mean? From that level,
and it's fly too because it's not just a monetary thing. You can actually take a lot of that energy and kind of make it social. You can even put it to your own. You know what I'm saying? Like to your own set of to believe. So like,
Yep.
if you wanted to do a Blue Lives Matter party, you can do that.
Right.
You can use your influence for whatever you want to put your energy into, and that's dope.
Sure.
I think to kind of the train kind of came back from before. You know, we talked a lot about the diversity of what the musicians are doing now, right? And those are great examples.
Yeah.
And so I think what happened is, whether it's generational or whether COVID pushed us, but I feel like the mentality of owning multiple facets, the entrepreneurial spirit, I feel like is bigger now than ever before. And so maybe it's more generational that's teaching us that we don't have to do the 9 to 5. I can be a DJ, I can be a photographer, I could be a content creator, I can be an instructor, and I can do all these things. And so I think it's dope to see that everybody's finding that entrepreneurial spirit.
Well, yeah, I don't think we have a choice anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's really dire out there right now, and not to bring it all down, but I mean, it's like, fuck,
It's real.
It's
just
real.
reality.
Like we have to do this. Like I have to chase work. I have to create these opportunities. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
But I also don't feel like we live. It's not like how when my mom was coming up and you had to go work somewhere for 30 years, retire, and hope that you saved enough, and hope that whatever fixed income that you put aside was going to be enough for a rainy day.
That's a fact.
Yeah, and so now it's just bust ass and get it done.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It's that, like, whoever's hustling and whoever's got consistency, because that's a big conversation that we all have, like consistency, you know, like make sure it stays that way, and, you know, quality and anything that's behind that word consistency, you know, making sure that that's it. And
for sure.
It is. It's a different time, and it's not like it was. Like, you know, you said you had to go through school, get a job, get married, buy the house, buy the car. 35 years in, retired, get the little retirement fund. Like, it's so different now.
Sometimes you just want a dog, fam.
I'm saying, man. You know?
Sometimes
you're just gonna walk your little puppy down the street, bro.
That's it, bro.
Sometimes it doesn't have to be as complicated as we make it. And I run into a lot of young people all the time, especially my son being in early 20s and all of his friends. And I'll be like, how long you been at that place? I've been there for 6 years. I said, you've been there too long. You know, my generation stayed for 20 years. I said, your generation needs to be out within 2 years because you need to grow. You need to get what you get from there and move to the next spot and go to the next until you find what you love. And it's like, I think we see all that more now.
Yeah.
Which gives us, it's like the okay to be like, yeah, I want to be the photographer.
Yeah.
Or I want to be something else on top of what I'm doing. And I think it's great, man.
Yeah, and for me personally, hopefully, you know, I'm making a brand or a company where all of that personality can thrive within one company, right? Because that's what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Nurture everybody's ideas, nurture them, and allow them to travel with those ideas. On take one, we talked about our specific, I guess, our wish sound system in a car. Okay, we were just going to end on that one real quick. So if anybody's got... you're going to start off?
All right, cool.
You're going to name the whip, though, too.
Yeah, so... Jeep Wrangler, no doors.
2-door, 4-door?
2. I don't want nobody in the back.
You don't want that Sahara limited edition Sahara?
I don't want nobody in the back.
Soft top, hard top?
We'll go hard top. Okay. And then I said 17s last time. That's a little ambitious.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of ambitious. So you know what? We might just we just might keep it to 212s. And just, you know, just nothing too crazy, you know.
Just the white walls at least.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? 212s.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And just no doors, just annoying the hell out of people. And I don't want my trunk to rattle no way. So
yeah, everything's tight.
Yeah, just something tight and loud as hell.
I hear you. I hear you.
Just a little mini festival.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go caddy. I want 100 spoke rims on there with the white wall tires, a couple 15s in the back. Really just blast the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
And make sure that the panels are nice and
tight,
foamed up, you know, solidified in there. No rattle, man. No rattles, bro. The only thing I want to rattle is your head when you're in there.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
So,
fam, I'd do anything to get that 1995 Geo Tracker back. Because let me tell you, the 210s that were bumping in the back, it was like having a sub box in another box.
Yeah.
Right? Because the Tracker was very, like, squared off and everything. Yo, Magic Mike, the 808 on his
Oh
tracks.
God. Okay, I thought this was getting ready to go left.
DJ Magic Mike out of Florida.
There we go. Clear that up for y'all.
I know
bass legend.
I know where my young my brethren were going with that. So let's keep it on pace.
He was living a different lifestyle back then. We didn't
It's been a while
understand.
since we've been out the crib together.
It has
been a while.
We gotta break balls a little bit.
Yo, who didn't like to hear that 808 just hit and just boom? It was just amazing. So
Exactly.
give me that.
Yeah,
track
I
there
had
again.
like I said earlier, I had 310s, or excuse me, yeah, 310s and an extended S10. But I think now, man, I'm a cruiser, man. I need anything with a bench seat, so a 60s car, 50s, anything with a bench
See,
seat.
I mean, see, we're
You going Buick? You hitting them with that Buick?
Just a boat.
Just a straight boat?
We're gonna talk.
Got my girl just right next to
Look, if
me.
we're gonna talk like that, my dream car is a 62 to 64 Impala.
See,
And I'm not putting any sounds in
I
there.
agree.
I want that shit
Agreed.
classic.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying. We're
Agreed.
talking
Agreed.
about a ghetto Wanger car. Give me the
Yeah.
caddy.
Yeah.
Throw the 15s in the
Yeah.
back. All
Yeah.
that. Dream car, 62 to 64 Impala.
Yeah,
All day.
I agree.
White
I
walls.
took it different. I
Oh.
mean, I would like a Durango right now with like 310s.
Ooh. You
That
see?
shit would be dope.
Yeah.
But like my dream car, 60 Impala, bench seat,
Oh, bro.
chick in the car,
White walls.
Vibes.
Sheesh. That wood paneling in the inside.
Bro,
you
that
know?
wood grain? The real
chillin'.
wood grain, though?
chilling. Yes.
Not a panel, real wood grain.
Yes.
Remember, this is real wood back
Yes,
in the day.
yes.
Steel body.
Yeah,
Fucking
that's
tanks.
that's
Those
where
cars
I'm
were
at.
tanks,
Summertime
bro.
shy, just cruising.
Word.
Like,
Yes. And listening to that OG gangster music, bro. Like all the soul joints, the slow jams. Because that was
Yeah.
real gangster
Yeah.
music back in the day before we had
Yeah.
hip hop and all that shit.
And
The
and,
Dusties.
and if you're looking for those tracks, Sensei has a few on his Mixcloud.
Let's go.
Subscribe to that shit.
Go look for the gangster mix one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I mean,
Let people know where they can find you at.
you can find me at scendshouse.com, SCENDS house.com. That's pretty much the hub. But yeah, Scendsei all over the map. Just look that up. SoundCloud, Mixcloud, everything, and I also got Wyzendale mixes with y'all. So thank you for that homework, by the way. I know he was calling it homework, and
Yeah.
and
It was dope though.
Man, it gave me purpose.
Yeah.
As far as being out here and not just trying to DJ live because everyone was doing it.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So
Hell yeah. And where can they find you both at?
K-Sity, that's City with a S, at DJ K-Sity on all the platforms, a.k.a. City Never Sleeps. And City starts with the letter S as well.
Hey.
Go find me on the Mixcloud.
tough.
I run a dope-ass DJ program for the youngsters that want to learn how to DJ. It's called The Spin Project. We're thespinproject.com. Just want to give back, man. It gave
Yeah.
me so much. I just want to give it back and,
Hell yeah.
and teach them the right way.
Hell yeah.
Word. You can go to slot.com. That's SLOT-A.com. Twitch mixes. Also, make sure to go get Jamila Wood's Legacy album that came out about a year ago. Make sure to go grab that new single coming soon.
Okay. All right.
Exclusive.
Heard here.
Yeah, definitely some new stuff on the way. Also, check out. Yeah, just follow me, man. Just follow me. Lock in. I am Slot A on all platforms.
Yeah.
He
Cool,
is
man.
Slot A.
Cool.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Well, cheers, you guys, man. Thank
Hey,
you
thank
again.
you, man. I
This was
appreciate
dope.
this.
Take two
Seriously,
was
man.
dope for sure.
Thank you so much, man. Wyzendale Radio in the mix. Yeah, I mean.
Thank you, Wyzendale.
Your safety is important. If you observe unattended packages, vandalism, or suspicious activity, inform CTA personnel immediately.